behalf of Metropolitan Engineering College Management, the correspondent, the principal, head of the department, faculty and staff members, we take this opportunity to welcome you all for the 1 week online FTP in the topic of Management Information System. First, we would like to express our sincere thanks to AICTE Training and Learning Academy for sponsoring to conduct this FTP. We would like to welcome to Dr. S. Arivalagan, Principal of McPherson Engineering College, who is dynamic leader of the support team in every activity of this FTP. Next, we would like to extend a warm welcome to Dr. K. Munishwaran, Professor and Head of Computer Science Department, and Atal Convener to this 1 week FTP. Next, we would like to cordially welcome to Mr. R. Sebastian, Librarian and Head, and Atal, Coordinator of this FTP. We take this opportunity in welcoming Dr. P. Pichappan, Senior Scientist and Director, Digital Information Research Lab in Chennai and UK, for having accepted inaugural and keynote address of this FDP. Also, we would like to extend welcoming to all resource persons and accepting our request. Dr. P. Pichappan, Dr. S. Vanitha Sivagami, Mr. S. Amartharaj, Mr. J. K. Deepak Venus, Mr. K. Tirumurthy, Mr. P. Vinod, Dr. K. G. Srinivasan, Mrs. M. S. Bhuvaneshwari, Dr. P. Golda Jayashree, Dr. V. Gomadi, Mr. N. Balaganesh, Mrs. S. Priyadashmi, Dr. M. Vinod Kumar, Dr. S. Devi Mahalashmi, and Dr. K. M. Mohanasundaram. We are confident that entire resource people will bring their best of the service for this benefit all the participants of this FTP. And we would like to extend a warm welcome to all the participants from different organizations across India. We hope that this FTP will be beneficial to all. Now we would like to hand over the session to Dr. K. Munishwaran to present over his FTP.
Dear MOC
Check.
team, kindly introduction about our chief president address given by Dr. Mike Muniswaran sir. MOC team.
Sir, hello.
Wait a second, sir.
Yeah, please, madam, please,
So, 1
please
minute.
give it.
Good morning, everyone.
Doctor
I will take care
K.
of it.
Okay.
So, very good morning to everyone in this online FTP stream. Let me congratulate all the participants for this FTP for having selected. So, I would like to say a few words about our Atal FTP program. In this modern era, ever-changing world, we are all migrating from information to knowledge and intelligent processing system. And every aspect, we are expecting smartness, and hence there is a need for the deployment of intelligent system components in the day-to-day activities. Artificial intelligence has become the major components in every deployment in the world. Academic institutions are running behind the technologies to cope up with the industries. Atal program is playing major role in delivering the recent knowledge and skill set required to students and the research community. Hope this FTP will fulfill the set purpose. I am very confident that this FTP will deliver the required knowledge and skill set to the participants in an effective manner. In turn, the participants will roll out the program to all their students and others. I wish that all the participants would enjoy this FTP. Thank you. Now it is over to the MCP.
Hello, MOC team. Hello, MOC team. Please read the GPS introduction part. Hello, MOC team. Hello.
Good morning, sir. Professor P. Pichappan is working as a senior scientist and director at the Digital Information Research Labs, Chennai, India, and Ford, UK. Prior to his current position, he served as a professor of information systems Hong Kong and the AISB University, Saudi Arabia. He is the guest professor now at China. His current interests include scientific communication, digital information management, science of metrics, text mining, natural language processing, and research evaluation. He is the editor of International Journal of Bio-Inspired Computing and Journal of Digital Information Management. He is the editorial board member of 5 international journalists. He is the editor of International Journal of Bio-Inspired Computing and Journal of Digital Information Management. He is the editorial board member of 5 international journals. He has published over 125 research papers in several international journals. He, he is the invited keynote speaker in 15 international conferences and events. He is the editor of NTD, ICDIM, IN Tech, FGCT, ICAD, IWT, RTIS, and STM conference proceedings. He is the International Program Committee member of 100 international conferences. He is the reviewer for more than 60 international reviewed journals and 80 conferences. He has reviewed more than 2,500 papers and built metrics for the reviews. He is the member of IEEE Technical Committee on Internet Community, COD Data Analytics Research Group, University of Micaiah, DST Expert Committee for Bibliometrics and Science Policies. He is the founding member of IEEE Committee on Big Data. He is nominated as the most eminent national expert to World Summit Award, Geneva. He was the panelist at UNESCO GKP Forum, Eurasia ICT, and Iran Observatory of Sciences. He is the reviewer for more than 30 international journals. He is elected to New York Academy of Sciences, invited to American Academy of Sciences, and as a fellow at the European Center for Nuclear Physics. He is nominated to Strategy Council of Global Alliance Panel of UNICT Task Force. He has 12 founded major research projects in India, Europe, Union, Saudi Arabia, and Japan. We are pleasant to welcome you, sir. Now I like to hand over my session to Mr. Pichappan.
Can I start?
Yes, sir. Please.
Now, before I start, I'd like to ensure that all of you are able to see my slides. Whether my PPT slides are visible?
Yes, visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Good morning to all of you. I'm very happy to join in this intellectual forum on management information systems. There are many lectures in this 1 week AICT sponsored program. I hope all of you could have seen the schedule of the program. As a participant, I feel that all the topics given by the organizers are very significant and very interesting. I'm very confident that this program will be able to bring better intellectual transactions among the participants. And also, I do hope that this program is not just a beginning, but it's not an end, but it's an ongoing process. The network we build will enable us to improve our research process in the information retrieval systems and information systems. Of course, most of the topics for this program are related to the information processing and retrieval systems, but the organizers have chosen a very broad topic, management information systems. About the topic which I am going to present today, I can share some basic information. I am going to talk about the text retrieval system. and not the information retrieval system. I hope that you can understand the relation between the text retrieval systems and information retrieval systems. Information retrieval systems are related to the identification and extraction of the text, images, audio, video, and other data. Whereas the text retrieval systems are confined only to the textual information. So we are not going to talk anything about the image retrieval or image processing or audio visual processing or retrieval. The talk will be confined only to the text retrieval systems, how we can able to extract, how we can able to process, how we can able to store, how we can able to prepare the interfaces to extract the relevant information to the user queries. Now this is the main issue that we are going to take for discussion today in the opening talk. Then I have added a word in intellectual, that is intelligent information processing and retrieval. This is somewhat very complex. What is actually intelligent information processing and retrieval? This is a very big issue, it's a very big question, and it is very complex also. So one cannot able to easily define what really constitutes intelligent information processing or retrieval. Now we can talk a little about the concept of intelligent information processing and retrieval in this program. Now let us go to the scope of the program. The talk which I am going to offer is not technical. I am not going to talk about the systems for the processing of information or systems for extracting information technically. I am not going to talk about the coding. What are the programs that we can able to use to process the information? I am not going to talk about the machine learning. I am not going to talk about the deep learning techniques, or I am not going to talk about the computational intelligence. These are the techniques and systems we need to process the information currently. Now, unless we introduce the coding for the processing, unless we introduce machine learning or deep learning or computational intelligence, we cannot process the volume of information what we have today. Since because before I prepare the program for prepare the talk for the program, I spoke to the organizer. He actually informed me that the audience are heterogeneous. Initially, I expected that the participants will have basic computer science background, but we have people from other domains also. Hence, I prefer to give a very general talk on information processing and retrieval, since the audience have heterogeneous background. So the talk will be very generic. Now, when you talk about the text retrieval systems, there are two possibilities. Either I can able to talk the technical issues. Now, what are the systems and methods, tools we can able to use, or what are this is one issue. Another issue is actually the discussions on the conceptual level. And now I am going to talk mainly on the conceptual issues of the information processing and retrieval. I am not going to talk anything on the techniques or systems. So the scope is very clear. Only the concepts associated with the information processing and retrieval is the scope of the talk. Well, now before we talk about the information processing and retrieval, we can take the basic concept information use. Every one of us requires pieces of information. Now, how to extract the information relevant to a specific user is the main issue. One can able to extract the information very easily when the user has good knowledge of the available resources. When the user has good exposure and experience in information searching, the user can able to exploit the information from the corpus of knowledge. And number two, now how we can able to consume the information more efficiently. Now for these aspects, we have to understand how the information is being processed. I can say that an information user can able to exploit or extract information efficiently when the user has a very strong base about the way in which the information is being processed. So when I'm going to search, for example, a search engine for a concept,
If I know how the search engine is able to process information, I can able to exploit it very easily. But when I'm a novice user, I have difficulty in the information searching. I do not know how to actually basically form a information query. So this is a basic issue. And later, I do not know how actually all the retrieval pieces of information are ranked. I do not know. When I do not know these issues, I am not able to access the information. Hence, the knowledge of information processing is required basically for every user. So not only now for the information retrieval, information processing researchers, but for every general user, a very strong knowledge on information processing is required. Any user, any user of information should understand how the information is processed in the digital format or in the World Wide Web. So this knowledge is very important to everyone, and hence the topic will be very interesting to everyone who is going to attend the program. Let us take a very basic concept. So there is an user, and user is searching for information, and the user is able to get the information correctly. Now this is the theoretical way. In the theoretical or in the conceptual level, basically I can say that an user can able to search the information and can able to get the information, whatever the information relevant to the user. But it is not an easy process. Now, the searching, so this is a very important process. The searching of information depends upon the intermediary we have, the information processing systems we have. The information processing systems we have can able to deliver the proper information to the user. So this is called intermediary. Basically, before 3 decades, before 2 decades, the intermediaries are only human beings. Now, the main intermediary is not a human being, but it is a system. Now, what is the coding we have? What is the technique we are going to use? And this technique or coding as an information intermediary will ensure the proper access to information. So there is a shift from the human intermediary to the machine intermediary in the last 20 years. Now the main reason is of course known to all of us that the volume of information available for information searching is very high. It's voluminous and not manageable, heterogeneous, and has multiple problems. Hence only an efficient intermediary or a system can able to ensure better information retrieval to the user. Well, in the world of digital information, we have both structured and unstructured information. You know very well that most of the information that is being added into the World Wide Web are unstructured. People do not follow any template, any protocol to add the piece of information. I think all of you may know there is a concept called a metadata. The information that we are going to add into the text corpus, if follows a metadata principle, then access to information is an easy process. You know well that there are certain protocols for the information addition to the World Wide Web. One protocol, for example, if you are going, if I am going to add a document into the World Wide Web, if I am going to add the document into my website, if I classify the content by using the metadata principles given by OCLC, that is for electronic data resources, there are some 15 basic elements and later it was improved. If I am going to add the metadata, if I am going to give a tag metadata for all the content of the document, the retrieval will be very easy process. If I am going to use a World Wide Web Consortium W3 principles in my website, then my website is well organized. If I am going to add SSL as a security layer to my website, then people can able to access it without any difficulty. So there are certain protocols to add a piece of information into the World Wide Web. And basically SSL for security, metadata principles for the classification of the elements, then worldwide W3C guidelines for the HTML coding. These are the protocols, but we know very well that most users do not follow any protocol.
Since people do not follow any template or any protocol, any standard, then the information becomes unstructured. It is possible that the World Wide Web can be turned into a structured resource if everyone is going to follow the protocol or the template or the standards. But more than 95% of the total World Wide Web information are unstructured. And there is an estimator that I read it last week. The unstructured data is growing at a rate of 62% per year. What will happen that the value of the structured information is going down and the value of unstructured information is increasing, and this will make the information processing and retrieval as a very complex task. And the information relevant to any researcher is distributed widely in different forms and multiple locations. Not only in one form, not only in one location, but in multiple forms. This adds to more complexity of information available to the users. Well, now one basic solution to extract information is the regular access of information, frequent access of information, and understanding the information processing systems will help us to know the will help us to extract the information. Well, prior to the year 2000, we know very well that most of the information pieces were available in the print form. Even actually, the internet, of course, had the background before 1990s. The transition from the print to digital format occurs only in 1990s. So before 2000, most of the information pieces are available in the print form, and moreover, the volume of information available before 2000 was very less and manageable. But from 2000 actually, we have witnessed a vast change or a rapid growth in the production of digital information. And what happens that when the production of information is growing at an alarming rate, most information pieces become unstructured. So structured information access is very easy. If I am going to control, if I am going to manage the resources available to me, I can able to retrieve any information within few seconds very easily. But if my information pieces are unstructured, I have difficulty in information access. Now we have challenges in the information retrieval process or information processing activities because of the growth of unstructured information. Well, in the information retrieval process, one important issue is the relevance. And the next issue is the quality. Well, all the hits are relevant. This is one possibility. Now, when I search for the information, if all the information pieces are relevant, I'll be very happy. And I can ensure that no hit is irrelevant. For example, imagine when you search for the Google for a particular specific concept, you have retrieved 9,500 websites. You can imagine all the 9,000 retrieved sites are relevant to your query, and no query is irrelevant. Then you will be very happy because you have 100% relevance in the retrieval. And if all the 9,500 hits have quality content and it is valuable to you, then you will be very happy. And then also you actually find that all the 9,500 hits are ranked based on quality and relevance. Because the top quality websites and top relevant subsites are ranked at the top, and the low value and the low relevant sites are ranked at the bottom. Now, if it is ensured, then information retrieval is a very simple, easy, and a user-friendly task. But practically, we do not have this situation. This is unfortunate. Well, now when you talk about the information processing or retrieval, there are two elements, two important elements. One is the user. User is a basic element, and another is the system. The system is intermediate. So these are three important components. First is the user, number two is the system, number three is the information. Now, with the information, we do not have a problem, but we have a problem with the user and the system. Now, what are the users? What are the issues with the user? User queries are immature. See, for example, I am going to search the Google with the term management information system. So what I do that, I just type the word in the Google management information system. I'm not able to connect all the three terms. So these terms are not connected. These are called as a free terms. That is called a free text, free text search. Because I'm not able to connect the three terms. How the terms to management information systems are related, I do not know. I do not give any connection between the three terms. So this is a search query. Now I can say that this search query is immature. So here the main issue is the user, because the user is not able to formulate the proper query to retrieve the information, because the user does not understand how the information is processed in the web. This is the issue. That is why the user query has some issue. So there are many such options or features available, and these are not known to any common user. So hence this is the problem with the user. And we have problems with the systems also. Most of the information processing systems just match the words. For example, I have prepared a coding, HTML coding. Even I have adapted a computational intelligence, and I have used deep learning systems. I have written a very complex, powerful program. Because my programmer is able to crawl millions and billions of websites, and you are actually giving a particular user query by expressing you express the query with 3 or 4 or 5 terms. So what I do that my system can able to match all the user query words with the words available in the text corpus. When there is a matching of the words, my system can able to retrieve. Now I can say that there are 4 search query. The text corpus is being matched by my system, and I am able to retrieve millions and billions of websites, all the available websites which have the 4 terms. If any particular web page has all the 4 terms, then that web page will be retrieved. I am very confident, because I have prepared a very powerful deep learning coding with the computational intelligence and machine learning. I am very confident. So my search system is efficient to bring billions and billions of web pages without any miss the hit. But the problem is that my system is able to match only the word. The concept is not actually matched. So this is the problem with my system. Then the context. See, I am able to use a particular word in one context, because as a user, I am searching for a word. So I can take a very basic example. Let us take the word strike, S-T-R-I-K-E. This word in English language has different meanings. A concept called beat. I beat something, I strike it. Then something which strikes in my mind. Then labor strike. So there are many contexts. If I give the word strike in the search query, but my concept is that something which is strike in my mind. So this is my query, my context. But the retrieval will be related to the labor strike, which is totally irrelevant. The context is not taken care by the system. Then semantics. The meaning, of course, is ignored by the system. See, for example, I am searching for the word cafe, C-A-F-E, cafe, but there are certain websites with the restaurant. So this is not being searched. So semantics meaning is ignored by systems. And then ranking. So ranking is a very big issue. Ranking is not based on relevance. So this is the main issue. Because when we able to search, we can able to retrieve 10,000, 20,000 or 50,000 web pages. All the web pages are being ranked. The ranking is very, very important in the digital world, because practically when you search in the search engine, by using a search engine, when you search, you may able to retrieve 25,000 pages or 50,000 pages. But practically you cannot able to access all the 50,000 pages. So what will you do? You will actually select only the top 3 or 4 pages. First 30 or 40 sites maximum for any query. You will ignore all the low ranked items. If there is any information piece which is important to you, which is being ranked at the lower level, definitely you have been denied access. So this is the main issue. If any search is available in the top rank, then you will able to search. So ranking, if it is not based on relevance, the system has a failure. So there is a failure in the system because ranking is not based on relevance. So these are some of the issues with the search systems. Well, now I can able to give you a very interesting example of two kinds of resources. One is academic search engines and proprietary databases. What is academic search engine? You know, for example, Google Scholar, BASE, then Microsoft Academic, Semantic Scholar. These are some of the examples for the academic search engines. And there are many proprietary databases. For example, the databases generated by Elsevier, Scopus, or IEEE, or PubMed, etc. These databases are produced manually. There is no machine is used for the preparation of these type of databases. These are actually produced manually and created manually, indexed manually, the databases. So the content is very limited. In for academic search engines also, the websites which are going to be added, the web pages which are going to be added are actually selected by the people, and then they are actually able to be introduced into the system. So academic search engines and proprietary databases
Hyderabad ka 650.14 CUS.
When you search for the query, you will get relevant hits, and all the ranking, of course, is more dependable. In academic search engine and databases, the ranking is dependable.
Management,
relevance is very
career
high,
development,
and irrelevance
business
is very
aspects,
less,
case studies,
very
competition.
high. Quality of the content is value is very high, and relevance is more. Ranking is dependable in academic search engines and proprietary databases because they are highly structured and mostly created with a manual involvement. But the only issue is that the content is highly limited. It's not actually global. It is not able to include all available information sources. They are being selected and then used. So these are the two examples of how we can able to bring structured content into the digital format. But the structured content in the web, of course, is very limited. Most of the content is unstructured. Well, what is a regular information retrieval process? See, in the World Wide Web, pages are available. No one really knows.
यार उनसे बात हुई थी उस दिन फ्राइडे को तो उसका एक्सीडेंट हो गया उस दिन.
World Wide Web. So what if, for example, I want to know the number of the sites indexed by Google. Now, for example, I am able to search just a letter A in the search box. I can search a letter E in the search box because these are the two letters used by many web pages. In English language, you know very well that the most used character is A and E alphabets. A and E are mostly used in many words. So I am searching for the word A, letter E, character A or E. Then I am able to count the number of the sites available in the Google indexed pages. Now, so volume, of course, even Google is not able to index all the pages. There are many other pages which are not indexed by Google because they are being hide in the web because web is a deep ocean. There are many sites which are not being indexed by Google, the biggest search engine. So no one really knows the total number of pages available in the website, in the internet. So in the web, we got the corpus of the natural language text. Now the user is giving the query, either in the form of the set of the free text words or a textual string. Now what is the difference between the free text and the textual string? Now, for example, if I give the search query as management information systems, just only 3 words. Now, this is an example for the free text. The same query, management information system, can be given in double quotes. So I start the one quote, management information system, then I close the quote. So this is a phrase or string search. So I can search either by using a free text or by using the textual string search. Then what will happen there? When I search, I am able to get a list of documents, pages in the web. These are ranked based on relevance to the query. If a particular web page is highly relevant to the query and it will be ranked in the top, If it is relevant, low, not much relevant, then it will be ranked at the bottom. And these are actually ranked based on the relevance. So this is a regular information retrieval process. Well, the users expect that the information retrieved in the website are on the proper subject. So when I'm searching for managed information systems, I expect that the documents should address only the MIS or information retriever. Then it should be of the new information. So people expect to get only new information, not the old one. I don't need any obsolete information, but I should be able to get the current information. Then it should be reliable. The information what I get from the web ranking should be reliable. Reliability is very important. If the information, because you know very well that in any public social web forum, the information pieces are not reliable. Reliability is a very big issue. And if you go to any social network, most of the information pieces are not reliable. Reliability is the main issue. So I expect that the information comes from a trusted resource. The source of information is reliable. Trust in the information. Then, and the content can able to satisfy my information requirement. These are the user's expectation in the information retrieval systems. How the retrieval system is going to address this is the issue. Well, now what is actually the relevance? The relevance is a very difficult question because it is very subjective. For example, two of us search by using a same set of terms, managed information systems. So both of us need information relevant to MIS. We get a lot of retrieval documents. Now I'm going to give an assessment or I'm going to evaluate the hits. And I say that one particular concept, particular web page is more relevant. And you may say that the particular page is not much relevant because the relevance, the concept of relevance is that it is very subjective. It's not highly really accurate. It differs from one user to another user. But we can say that relevance is basically is a measurement of the correct terms available in the query in the document. So when I give the term managed information system, the words are available in the retrieved document, then it is relevant. So this is a query string which is actually equivalent to the text string. The text string and query string of course are similar, then we can say retrieval is very relevant. And then another thing is that the words are available in the text document. The first one is that the query management information retrieval system is available as a string in the text document. It is more relevant. And the second one is that all the three terms are available in the text document. In the text string, all the three terms are available, but not with one phrase, not with one string. These are actually scattered in different places. Say, for example, if you take a web page, in the first paragraph of the retrieved document, I am able to find the word information. In the second paragraph, I can able to find the word system. The third paragraph, I can able to find the word management. All the three terms which I searched are available in the web pages, but at different places. Now, this is actually not a string, but actually is a term. Terms are scattered or dispersed, and it constitutes the low retrieval. Now, here in the Google, as a general user, I'm a novice user, I'm not an expert. I search for the word management information system. And see, there is a hit content management solution, digital content management. Here, I do not find the phrase management information system anywhere in the document. So this is the first document that I have retrieved. I do not find that the phrase management information system is not available because the problem is my user query. Where is the problem here? The user query is this a free text. If I use double quotes, one quote management information system, then I close the quote. If I'm giving the string, then the content will be very restricted and relevance will be more. So the basic problem, of course, is the query. So what happens that the retrieved content, see the content management solutions, digital content management, this is the site which I have retrieved, which is not actually much relevant. So it is low relevant because there is no text string. So this is a very basic issue to the retrieval process, because I do not really understand how the information is being processed. Well, now what is the intelligent information retrieval? Now, if information processing system is able to take care of the meaning of the word, I'm giving a word, the system can able to see the meaning, semantics of the word, and then can able to retrieve not only the word I'm using it. See, for example, there is an information query. As a general user, you give the query child health. This is your query. But in the retrieved document, and there is a very good important document for child health, but the document is written by an expert in medical sciences. The expert in medical sciences has used the term pediatrics. The expert has never used the word child health in the document. The document is not retrieved by the search system because it is only matching the word child health to the text document. But if the intelligent system the system is going to retrieve the document which has also used the word pediatrics, then the search system, retrieval system is excellent. So an intelligent information retrieval system should take care of the meaning of the word, then order of the words in the query. So even the user is giving some 4 or 5 words as a free text query, the words are not similar in the query. So if the information processing system is able to take care of the words in the query, then the system is more intelligent. And then it is taking care of the feedback of the user. Whether the document retrieved is not relevant, then the system can be able to return the document and can able to research by using a reformulated query. Then the query can able to retrieve more relevant hits. That is an intelligent information retrieval systems. Then trust, whether I can able to rely upon the content retrieved. If I am able to rely upon the content retrieved, I can say that the system is intelligent. For example, I am going to take the semantic scholar, a search engine. It can able to retrieve only very few items, but the system can able to ensure good trusted resource. The information available in the content is reliable, trusted source. Then the system can able to analyze the syntax or the context or the phrase structure, how the phrase concept is used. The concept can be explained in the form of a phrase, not in the form of the free terms. And then semantics. If the system can able to say take the semantics of the document, and then the retrieval is based on the meaning rather than the keyword. So this is very important. So what happens that in the search process, most of us use a word or a set of words. We call it actually a keyword. But system is able to match the keyword only, not the concept. If the keyword alone is matched by the system, it is not an intelligent retrieval system, and the meaning should be matched, and there is a better information intelligent retrieval systems. What are the information retrieval system components? Now, first one is actually the index words, and the words are being taken for processing. Maybe the word that expresses the concept in the document. A particular web page may have 500 words. Out of the 500 words, only a very few words can able to express a concept of our query, and these are the index terms. These are the very important terms that can able to represent the concept of the query in the web page. Then we got to remove the stop words. Many information retrieval systems remove the stop words. Then stemming. For example, I am using the word quality, qualitative. The system takes care of both the words quality and qualitative. That's a stemming process. Then, and we can able to prepare an inverted index of all the terms based on certain system. And then we can able to retrieve the documents from the inverted index. Then we can able to rank all the documents based on the relevance system. There must be a relevance metric that should be available. I think you may know that Google ranking is much better than other search engines. Google actually has prepared a very complex algorithm for ranking of the documents. And there are two main components. You may know that one is actually the page rank. For a page rank algorithm, now you can able to check the page rank of a web page very easily by using certain websites. Now there are two web pages. One, of course, these two are relevant to a particular query, and A and B. Whether A can be given in the top rank or B can be given the top rank, this is the question. Now the Google is actually taking the page rank of the website A and B. If a particular website, for example, B has better page rank, then B will be placed in the top and then A will be the second one. This page rank algorithm is based on the number of links. For example, see, my web page is B. My site web page is referred by certain 58 external sites. And your web page is A, which is being referred by 45 external pages. Since the number of external link which is coming from, let's say, inbound links is more for my page will come appear in the top, and your site A will appear in the second level. So here, PageRank algorithm is a main component used by the Google to rank all the websites. Number one, not only PageRank but relevance. So they have certain word relations. They have say a system which can able to identify the word relation. So based on the word relation and based semantics of the document and as well as based on the PageRank algorithm, Google is ranking all the retrieved documents. So in most cases, if you evaluate the relevance of the various search engines, Google has better relevance than any other search engine because the algorithm employed by Google is more reliable than other search engines. So the ranking can able to ensure that top ranked sites can able to appear, can able to give more relevance, and the low ranked sites can able to give low relevance, and this is the relevance metric which is used by the information retrieval components. In the information retrieval system, there is an important element called user interface. What is a user interface? Now, as a user, you are giving the query. This is the input. And the system can be able to bring the documents. This is the output. But between the query and the output, there is actually the search system, that is the interface. And the interface is actually nothing but a program, a coding, a complex algorithm prepared by the search systems. And this is one important concept in the system user interface. The relevance feedback. Any system can able to evaluate the retrieval, and if the retrieval is not able to satisfy the user, then the query can be reformulated so that the retrieval can able to bring more relevant sites. So this is a feedback. A system can able to permit the feedback, and the results can be visualized. See what are the top and what are the low, and how these sites, the web pages are interconnected with this visualization. Now then, query operations. Now how the query can be improved by the feedback system, and then query expansion. If the query has a problem, the query is not able to express a real requirement, then we can able to reformat the query by using a thesaurus. This is now in the modern thesaurus we have are the examples are WordNet and LexicalNet. So you can able to search in the Google WordNet and LexicalNet. These are the modern thesaurus. Here you can able to you have a particular term, and you really do not know what are the later terms. What are, if you have one word or one term, you can able to find the related terms with the term, and the broader terms for the term you have, the narrower terms for your term, and narrower terms, broader term, related terms, synonyms, all are given in a thesaurus. Earlier, thesaurus were prepared manually by the people and they were available in the printed format. Now we got a digital web-based open source thesaurus. The two examples I can cite you, one is called WordNet, WORDNET, and LexicalNet. If you look into the WordNet or LexicalNet, for any particular term or query, you can able to find the equivalent term, related term, synonym terms, broader term, and narrow term, so that you can able to format the query properly. If the user interface, if any user interface incorporates the thesaurus as a component, then the system can able to bring more intelligence. Say for example, but I don't find that any search engine is able to include the digital thesaurus or WordNet or LexiCalNet. But if a system can able to add, then the system can able to search the synonym terms. Even your query is related to just only one word. You can able to search for multiple words which are actually related with the query term. But I do not find any search system that can able to add the thesaurus in the search process. Then query transformation using the relevance feedback, and this is the best user interface we have in the system. Now the conceptual level, I am talking about the conceptual level information retrieval. Now we have a very important concept, the information processing, phrase processing and search. See, word is not an information unit. Only a phrase can able to express a query. See, if you are able to express a query with the 3 or 4 or more terms which are not related, you don't able to express a relation between them because it's a simple query. But if you express as a phrase, then the phrase can be called as a unit of information. So processing of the phrase is more meaningful than processing of the word. And then automatic phrase extraction from the query or from the text document is a very important activity in the intellectual information retrieval. Now, for example, a particular web page has 1000 words. The system can able to extract the words, extract the phrase from the page, and it removes the stop words. And the phrase can be extracted, the phrase can be matched, and you also give the query in the form of a phrase. Then the relevance will be very high, and a system can able to take the co-occurrence of the word. See one example, if you give the word management information system, and in that particular query, the distance between management information is 0. The distance between information system is 0. Now, if you give the query, then in the form of a phrase, then the distance between the words is 0. Then it can able to bring high relevance. But if you give the query in the form of a free text, the distance between the term 1 management information, the query is 0. The distance between management information, the query is 0. But in the document, the text document, the word management is given in the first paragraph, and information is given in the last paragraph. In between, there are many other words. So now the distance between the word management and the information in the document is very high, infinitive. Then the relevance is very less. If the distance between the two words is 0, the relevance will be definitely very high, and the distance is very high. The distance is more, the relevance is likely to be less. Now this is the phrase, the impact of the phrase in the information processing task. The future information retrieval systems. A perfect information retrieval system is a very complex, difficult task, and we do not have any particular system which can able to ensure 100% reliability, 100% accuracy, 100% relevance, 100% value. Now, if I do now in the conceptual level, I told you if there are 9,500 hits to your query, if you ensure that all the 9,500 are relevant, nothing is relevant, all the 9,500 are trusted resources, reliable, accuracy is there, value is very high, all sites have very good quality content, then this is actually an European team. We can say that there is a perfect information retrieval system, and this is somewhat a very challenging task. So people are doing many kind of research activities on information retrieval system in order to improve the efficiency of the retrieval systems. But in the research what we did in the last few years is that now we are able to bring more improvement in the relevance hits. The search systems are able to bring more relevance. The relevance is increasing in the research, and ranking is also being improved in the many retrieval systems or research in the retrieval. And then, but the value measurement is a very difficult task. Whether the information content is more valuable or not, the systems cannot able to estimate the value of the retrieved document. The main reason is that the measurement of the value is an intellectual process. It's not a manual or mechanical process. That is why the retrieval systems have difficulty in measuring the value of the content. But people have been working to add more intelligence to the retrieval system and processing activity so that the value of the content is likely to be very high. While value of the retrieved content, what I can say, value of the retrieved content is likely to be very high since people have been working to add intelligence into the information processing task so that we can able to ensure good value to the retrieved documents. Now we have two more developments actually in the information retrieval activity. One is a network. For example, you have a very good, highly relevant document to the query, and these documents are related with many other documents. Now, if my system is able to actually draw a network of all the related documents, the network can able to bring all the related documents. So there is a very important node. The important node is actually the document X or the web page X, which is an important node and which is very relevant to you. And I can able to draw a network of all the related nodes. Then all the related nodes are related web pages to you. So I can able to build a network. So people are able to bring the network of the documents, and this is possible only by the semantic link, not by the external link. And the number two is the citation. See, for example, when I am able to write a document, I am able to refer another document in my page. Then I can able to bring some type of relation between the two documents. So based on the concept of citation, I can able to bring the two related documents. So I can able to bring a citation network, a network of documents based on citations, because this link is not given mechanically by anyone. Even, for example, a web page is giving a link to another document that is not labeled. But when I'm able to prepare a document, I'm citing another document. So my document is related to other document. So here I can able to bring a network of the related web pages based on citation. So this is being an ongoing task. How we can able to bring related documents into one group based on the network concept by citation and the network analysis. This is an ongoing research, and people are able to do this kind of research. Maybe we have to wait and see the outcome of the network and citation analysis based studies. But they have their own problems also. So we do not have the time to discuss the limitations of the network and citation based document clustering. So web pages can be clustered based on networks. We do not have time to talk about the limitations also. So we have to wait and see the outcome of the research which is being currently going on in these fields. With this actually, with these discussions, I'd like to close my talk because the time given to me is almost over. So before I close the discussion, I like to actually expect a few discussions from the participants. So I invite the questions and from the participants so that we can able to discuss certain interesting points. Of course, I am very confident that my talk is not a very comprehensive, and I have not actually addressed any specific issue. This is an overall view of the information processing. So my talk is not very comprehensive. I have not taken any particular discussion, and my talk is not technical. It is just an overview of the text retrieval systems. In fact, I can able to bring more slides, but the time is very limited. So within 1 hour, it is somewhat difficult for me to address all the issues. But anyhow, I am quite confident that your queries and discussions, questions will enable us to have some more interesting discussions. So before I conclude, I like to ask questions from you, discussions from you.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Morning.
Sir, I'm so happy of attending this webinar, attending this FDP program. You are and your presentation of information retrieval. It was so good, sir. And one thing, sir, you told us that WorldNet and LexicalNet. Is it useful for engineering, sir? Engineering students?
Now this is very general. See, the subject coverage, domain coverage of the two online thesaurus. One is a lexical net, another is a word net. These are the open source, and this is very generic. It is not restricted to any domain. The general digital thesaurus, online thesaurus. Now the purpose is that you can able to find a synonym word, related word, broad word, narrow term, etc. When you able to search the word net or lexical net.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.